back to my workshop. It's been quite a while since I've last done a video. If you followed my videos in the past, you know I earn my living as a wheelwright. I make carriage wheels and then go on to make carriages and carts. One of the ways I try and promote the craft is I take a stall at a number of country fairs throughout the southeast of England. And whilst I thoroughly enjoy being out and about talking to people about wheels, it costs me an absolute fortune. I was looking for something to sell which I could just sort of use to pay the diesel bill, and I came across making wooden buckets. Now, as far as I can find out, there's only one other person in England making wooden buckets, and that gentleman's getting very old and he's pretty much given up. So I thought I'd start having a go. So last year I started making wooden buckets, and they proved to be very popular, and it's taken me to a whole new world of customers. And let's face it, we all need new customers. So the most popular bucket I make is what I call the medieval bucket. It's based on a historical design. I've seen similar in a number of museums, and so I've just taken that design and that's what I do. And I start with what I can only describe as slices of tree. It's probably the best way to describe this. This is how I get it from the woodyard. This is beech. It comes to me in 1 inch thick slabs, and I need to mill this and get it down to sort of the staves that I can use. Now, milling wood is probably not that exciting, so I'm probably not going to bother showing you too much about doing that. The bit you really want to see is how we make the bucket. So I'll just get on, do this, and come back in a moment, and hopefully we'll have a big pile of milled wood. So having shaped all our staves, we now need the rings to go around the outside. There's a couple of ways you can do it depending on what it is you're using to make the rings out of. I tend to use this, which is 20mm to 3mm steel, just normal run-of-the-mill steel. And you need to bend it into a ring, rather similar to this, and then rivet the two ends together. You could weld the ends together, but I think rivets look nice. Because the bucket goes like that, you need to make sure that the ring also goes like that. And the way to do it is you need one of these. This is a slightly unusual hammer. It's what they call a straight pane hammer. So rather than being a ball pane hammer like this that has a ball on the end, this has a wedge. And you'll come across a lot of them which are called cross pane hammers, where the wedge goes that way, but we want one to go this way. So this was quite hard to find. Well, what we do is we bash it on the anvil, and we want to go along the edge of this side of the steel. We don't want to go flat on, because we want to go on the edge, and then we want to, what it does, it elongates this side. So and so, as you can see, what's now starting to happen, this is starting to curve upwards. This side we're not touching, that side we're making longer, and it will just push it all the way out. And then when we've got it where we want it, what I tend to do is just bend it round. Now, there's a couple of methods you can use for fixing the two ends together. I tend to use these, which are sort of the old traditional blacksmith's rivets, because I am an old traditional blacksmith. Well, probably. Now I'm just going to true that up, and that will make a pretty good ring. I found this is the easiest way to build one up. So you put one of those clamps on, and then you just work up against it, pushing into the side as you go. Make sure you get the staves round the right way with the narrow end at the top. this is where you get to the tricky bit. Take the clip off. And that's the first ring on. So you can start to see the principle of where we're going. Well, that's starting to look like a bucket. There's just a minor bit missing. But we can sort that out in a second. I should point out, if anybody wants one of these, they are for sale on my website, the details of which are on the bottom of the page. So here we are. We have what possibly looks like a bucket. So now we need to fit, or now we need to make a base to go in it. As you can see, I've routed out a groove all the way around. So with this set of dividers, I need to find, bearing in mind at this point it's not exactly round, it's close, and the more of these I make, the better I get at it, but they're not quite round, so you need to check it in a couple of places just to get the dimension right, but that's pretty close. So now I'll measure that, transfer that to a compass, and then we'll make a round piece of wood. So now we come to the tricky bit. It wasn't supposed to happen quite like that. Fitting the base. The easiest way to do it is you loosen everything off. I find it easier to put a big Jubilee clip around everything. And then down we go. Well, there you go. For all intents and purposes, that's now a complete bucket. Still needs a little bit of finishing, bit of sanding, but so what? We can do that. For all intents and purposes, this is now a watertight bucket. The only thing it's missing is a handle. I'm not going to bother showing you how to put a handle. I mean, this is one I've made earlier. This is what I call my medieval ship's bucket. If you look carefully, it's actually that bucket turned upside down, but we won't tell anybody that bit. And I've just put a rope handle on it and spliced the ends in, so it looks quite neat. But I mean, I have seen it done where people put a rope through and just tie a knot on the end. It does the job, it's just not quite as nice, is it? There's a couple of things you can do with regard to finish on this. Bearing in mind, a lot of people will buy these for sort of reenactment purposes, and they'll be using them for sort of drinking water. So I'm never too keen on putting too much on the way of finish on it. I mean, the reason why I've used beech wood all the way throughout is because it's the traditional wood for making buckets, but also it doesn't taint the liquid. There are some food safe finishes you could use, but if you just want it for decorative purposes, bit of Danish oil, bit of linseed oil, anything like that would do the job quite nicely, and it gives it a very attractive finish. Hopefully you enjoyed that. If you did, go and have a look at some of the other ones. You never know, you might like some of my other videos as well. If you'd like a bucket, have a look at the Heritage Craft website. There's plenty of them there for sale. I'm happy to send them anywhere. But until the next time, thanks for watching. Bye bye.